Okay, welcome to quiz 3.7, and I'm not going to lie, I really do not like this quiz. Now, don't get me wrong, it's an excellent way to practice your if-else statements, but if you're getting frustrated with this one, my advice would just be to skip it. There's plenty of practice with if-else statements in the rest of the course, but since this is going to be a walkthrough of all of the quizzes, we are going to do it. So, as you are well aware, there's this giant chart that tells us all about the sizes that a person would need and what the width, length, and sleeve should look like for each one of those. We're going to use this sizing chart, and we're going to input a bunch of shirt width, length, and sleeves, and then print, small, medium, large, whatever to the console. The part that's annoying about this is that what they are assuming that you will know is that you need to basically say if the shirt size is greater than or equal to 18 but less than 20, and the length is greater than or equal to 28 and less than 29, and the sleeve is greater than or equal to 8.13 or less than 8.38. So that's just one of those, and we're going to have to do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus an else statement. So this is going to be an if, else if, and then all the way down to an else to print out NA if it doesn't really meet any of these qualifications. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is write an if statement. And this one is going to be concerned with whether or not we're console.logging a small or just a big S. We'll go S. And the condition that we need for this is defined here. First, we're going to check the shirt width. So we'll say if shirt width. And I know I'm going to spell these wrong, so I'm probably going to be copy and pasting most of them. I would advise you to do the same given how many different if statements we're going to write. So if the shirt width is greater than or equal to 18 and the shirt width is less than 20, that's going to satisfy the shirt width section. Then we're going to do a shirt length, and then we're going to do a shirt sleeve. So we'll do and we'll wrap those in parentheses to give ourselves some room to work with. The next thing we're going to check to see is the shirt length. And the shirt length, as we see here, not here, but here, the shirt length is going to need to be greater than or equal to 28 inches. And shirt length is also going to need to be less than 29 inches. So we've done that. The last thing that we're going to need to check is the shirt sleeve. The shirt sleeve is going to need to be, what do they got? Greater than or equal to, excuse me, greater than or equal to 8.13. So shirt sleeve needs to be greater than or equal to 8.13. You can see already why I really don't like this problem, because it's very likely the case that we're going to mess something up, and finding out where you mess something up is not really that much fun. Later we're going to show you ways to make your code not look this kind of like, overloaded, but for now, Udacity gets upset if we do things like that, so we'll say 8.38, we will do this, and then we will leave. So let's test the value for small. Let's say that it's 19 inches for the shirt width. Let's say that the length is 28.5. And let's say that the shirt sleeve is 8.2. Theoretically, if we've done this correctly and we do our test run, this should log S to the console. It does. Okay, now the fun part. I think we might be able to copy and paste most of this and kind of save most of our work. That's accidentally opening the console. Actually, I think that's accidentally inspecting an element, but either way, accidental. So we're going to paste this in here, and now instead of the shirt width being greater than or equal to 18 as it was for small, we want it to be greater than or equal to 20. We would like it to be less than, I might want to put a space in there, less than 22. Shirt length is going to need to be greater than or equal to 29, and less than 30. And the shirt sleeve is going to need to be greater than 8.38, greater than or equal to 8.38. And it looks like less than 8.63. And if all of that is the case, we're going to want a console.log medium. Let's adjust these slightly to 20. We'll go 29.5. And what do we need this in? We'll say 4. So if we've done this correctly, this should log medium to the console. Especially when you have a problem like this, I can't stress enough how nice it would be, just for your own sake, to copy and paste stuff the way that I am here, and also to log a quick test to the console each time you get through it. It is frustrating, but it's not quite as frustrating as having to do this after the fact. So do what you will, as always, and definitely feel free to skip this problem at any point. I cannot stress that enough. 22 inches is the lower bound for large. The upper bound is 24. For the shirt length, we're going to want the upper or the lower bound to be 30, because again, we're working off of these numbers and making sure that they haven't quite made it to these numbers yet, because we're talking about large. So greater than or equal to 30 has to be less than 31, and we have 8.63 and 8.88, so we'll do 8.88 first, and 8.63, if you'll notice, is just this bound as well, so we'll go 8.63, and we're going to be console.logging L in that case. So for the shirt, we'll go 22.3, we'll go 30.5, and the last one can be 8.7. Again, if we've done all this correctly and we run our test run, we should be logging L to the console. Your code displayed no output. Of course it didn't. Mostly because instead of 30.5, we said 20.5. So we'll go back and we'll write 30.5 as we should have. Test run should now say L. It does. Even though it says L, that is a W for us. And please forgive me those corny jokes. Just if statements really bring out the worst in me. So I'm going to continue copying and pasting. This one's going to be for XL. And if we look about XL, we need to be 24 to 26. So 24 and 26. The shirt length needs to be 31 to 33. And the shirt sleeve needs to be 8.88 to 9.63. We saw last time that if we write 9.63 here first, it's a little bit easier to just grab 8.88 and not have to keep scrolling back and forth. There are ways to organize this a little bit easier again, but for our purposes, this is really as good as we can do for the moment. So we'll say 24.5, we will say 31.5, and let's say 9 for the shirt sleeve. Doing a test run should give us XL. So we got XL. Continuing right along, we're going to be talking about double XL in a moment. All right, so the shirt width, 24. So now we're talking about double XL, so it's going to be 26 to 28. So we'll go here, it'll be greater than or equal to 26 and less than or equal to 28. We then have 33 and 31, which we already did. 33 and so this got to be 33 to 34. So we'll go 33 is what it has to be greater than or equal to. It has to be less than 34. And for shirt sleeve, we have 10.13. So we'll do that one first. 10.13. This one's just going to turn into 9.63. You can see we've lined up everything rather nicely and made this pretty much as easy as we could. For double XL, we're going to want to change our values again for a quick test. Greater than or equal to 33, so 33.5. And for a shirt sleeve length, 10 feels like it'd be nice. Again, if we run this, we should get 2XL. We get 2XL. The last one that we're going to want to look at, the last else if condition, is going to be in the event that their size is greater than each one of these. And greater than or equal to, because as you remember, we did less than for the previous one. So copy and paste the if portion, input an else, and you can see how crazy this would get if you didn't line up your code. We haven't really discussed that yet, but the more even you can keep your code, the happier you're going to be. So in this case, we need to make sure that the shirt width is only greater than or equal to 28. For shirt length, we need to make sure that it is greater than or equal to 34. And for shirt sleeve, we need to make sure that it is greater than or equal to 10.13. So if we get rid of that a little bit further. Okay, that should do 3XL. So let's change these values so that they look like what they ought to. So we need something greater than 28. We need something greater than or equal to 34. And we need something greater than or equal to 10.13. Those values should do it. Test run should yield 3XL. It does. The last condition is going to be, if none of these conditions are met, we're looking to console.log not applicable, or n/a. And in any event where this is the case, we could just make this 9. There's a ton of different values we could test this with, but in general, it's if none of these conditions that we described here are met, and not just here, but like all of here If none of those conditions are met, then we're going to log not applicable to the console. Okay, so we made it through. Hopefully that should show you exactly what you need. I'm going to kind of scroll across it so you get a good sense of what this code all looks like. It is a good exercise to do this, but hey, before we start doing a celebration chit-chat, we ought to submit the answer and make sure it's correct. Hey, excellent work. So good on you if you were able to get through that. If not, don't worry about it. You'll get plenty of practice with if, else, and conditions. And thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.